Hey friends, so today we are out at my house in the backyard. We have finally moved the playhouse. We made a video probably a year ago where Chris and I were going over the plans for this. Well, we have officially locked down the plans, it's moved, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So the playhouse has finally been moved. We painted it a few weeks ago and Chris was like, if we don't move it, we're never going to get those garden beds done that we want to have done. And we made that video on here about a year ago. So it's about due that we get this thing done, right? But I'm going to show you plants that we have selected and where we're going to put them, how to incorporate them with the playhouse and all of the things. How to really keep in mind that these are going to have kids running around over here. So we didn't, like I would have loved to have done some rose bushes, but I just can't because those kids, especially the boys, are wild in here. But I'm gonna come back here, and this here is gonna be a 9-bark, the summer wine, and then there's a snippet Weigelia. I believe it's the dark leaf. It's actually a lighter leaf one with pinks in it. So that will go here in the front of the 9-bark. And then we'll have 2 hydrangeas that flank that, and those will be the tidbit hydrangeas, the panicle hydrangeas here in front of there. So it's really going to be pop off that 9-bark. Story about the 9-bark is that my brother and sister-in-law used to own our home, our old home, and they moved in, and I had this massive 9-bark, and it was precious. It was so big. The blooms were beautiful. I absolutely loved it, and it was really showy against that white home. Well, when we sold it to them, they didn't like it, and that's totally fine. Everybody has their preference on plants and what they like and what they don't like, and they just happen to not like that one. They kept all my hydrangeas, thankfully, because they look so beautiful over there. But they tore that one out, and ever since then, I've just really wanted a place to put one. So now I have a place for one that I can enjoy for a while. It takes them a little bit to get going because they get, 5 years-ish before they really reach their full height and width. So it'll be a little bit. But back here around this tree, we're going to get into the mulch around the tree, and we're going to put in salvia. A pink fusion salvia is going to go around that. And then, so our plan is to kind of come around here like such and wind back around there. So we're not going to incorporate the existing landscape just yet. We will eventually, but at that time we're going to rip out all of the river rock that we have in our landscape, and that is a large task. I asked Chris to do it, and he was like, I don't think you realize how big of a job that is. I'm like, fair point. Okay, so I'm gonna hold off on that. So we're just gonna leave like a strip of grass over on the side so the mower can get through, leave the existing landscape for now, and then eventually we'll work it all in together. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to move this camera, I'm going to show you the back behind, just a couple small things back there, and then what we're doing on the side over there. So as this comes around, so we'll have that swooped around with the Pink Fusion Salvia, and that's going to kind of be our ending point for around here. So it'll round, and then that'll be the edge of where that 9-bark is going to sit over here in the hydrangeas. So the hydrangea is going to probably stop in here somewhere, and I want to kind of keep it simple back here. The kids are going to maybe jump off of here, so I need something a little bit hardy. So we're actually just going to do 1, 2, 3 of the tater tot arborvitaes by Spring Meadow ColorChoice shrubs. So we'll do 3 of those. Maybe I'll put an allium in there because that's what we're going to do over here. But I don't know, I just wanted to keep it simple because you're going to have the Pink Fusion Salvia here. That shrub gets 2 to 3 foot here on the edge there, 2 to 3 foot here, and likewise up there. So just wanted greens, and then that way we also wanted, if people are driving past, you can kind of see straight through the yard here, that I wanted people to be able to see still to our back, to the right behind you is the garden bed we have existing with all of the limelight hydrangeas and everything. So that is my thought process there, to kind of keep that a little bit lower. So I went with a little bit of a smaller hydrangea here. That way you could keep that eye path so it just keeps going back and back. We just keep joking that we keep adding all of this stuff. And like, if the person who buys this house is either someday, not anytime soon, but is going to have to love plants, or they're just going to take a bulldozer to everything, because they're going to be like, there ain't no way I'm keeping up with all of this stuff. But we love it, and while we're here, we're going to do what we love, right? And where I'm standing here, we are going to do 2 of the wee bit, I believe that's the name of it, the really small hydrangeas. It's a smooth hydrangea. They get about 2 foot by 2 foot, maximum maybe 2.5 foot. So they're just going to stay nice and compact, and so people can still, obviously from the road, you can see the playhouse, you can see everything around it. Didn't want anything big. We thought about doing hanging baskets here, but the hanging baskets that we'll have to put here, while that is a great idea, they're going to have to be smaller ones, and the smaller ones dry out really fast. And I already am out here watering all the time, so if I could just leave this to being perennials and shrubs and as little watering as possible out here eventually, that would be ideal. Now I'm going to give you kind of a front view of everything and how this is all going to lay out. So it gets a little complicated up here because it's kind of narrow. So in here, right here is going to be like a pathway, and all of this weed mat that is already down is going to be rubber mulch in the front side. So like to here is going to be rubber mulch, and everything underneath back there will probably be like a black trap rock, and then everything else around that will be mulched. We have a lot of mulching. I hate mulching. Have I mentioned that? And we already have that garden bed back there that took us a couple hours this year, and now we're adding this. So the mulching days, thankfully my kids are getting older and they're just going to start helping, right? Anyways, so the pathway is going to be here, and I think it's going to mimic, we're putting a pathway right there that's going to round back to that garden bed back there. So it'll be that same pebble with stone. This pathway might be different. We haven't decided what we're going to do yet. I don't know if I want the kids running around in this pathway with those pebbles. I know that I've done glue before, but they didn't stick. It was like $300 to do that whole garden bed, and it lasted for a season. So I wasn't super excited about that idea. But anyways, we're going to line this border with that same Pink Fusion salvia. So we're going to do a couple here and do 3 of them here. And that way when you're looking in, right, you're looking in here, you can see the tree back there, and that's going to be wrapped with that pink salvia, and you're just going to see it's just going to flow nicely here. And then next to it, we'll do a couple of not the luminary phlox. I want to do a shorter one, the middle one. I can't remember the names of them, but it's going to be a pinkish white phlox that are going to go here from Walter's garden. And then here we're going to do the tater tot arborvitae. We're going to do the pink, we're going to do actually an allium here, the serendipity allium, another tater tot, and then serendipity again, allium. And then we're just going to repeat that here. We'll do 1 phlox there, repeat that here, right there, because there's not going to be a ton of room. That we're just going to have about this much room, so it'll go there, here. We might be able to get a couple allium in there with the width being a little bit bigger, but not a ton bigger than over there. And then what I'm really excited about on this side, kind of back to where we started. So you'll see again, this is going to be the same garden bed as here. So it's just going to kind of swing in real tight, and just a way to access that garden there. So here is going to be really fun because it's going to let the girls kind of have a hand at, planting flowers and all of that stuff. So there's makes a 48-inch raised garden bed. It usually has legs to it, but I'm going to set it on the ground. We used it in one of our photo shoots for the Proven Winners Gardener's Idea book, and I really loved them. They're wider, they're taller, 48 inches. It's going to be white. I'm going to have it set on the ground, and I'm going to let them plant like zinnias, ranunculus, whatever they want to do, you know. And if that's too hard, like if they have a hard time growing that, they don't want to grow that, they can do whatever wildflower they want. So I just want to let them have a really cute little cut garden here. They have window boxes up here already. So yeah, that's it. It took me a long time. I say a long time, like a little over a week, to really just like, my wheels just couldn't get it together. Like I could not come up with a design plan. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I got the old-fashioned catalogs out from Spring Meadow, got the catalog out from Walter's Garden, and then I just went to town. One thing I did forget to tell you is the tater tots in the back. My plan eventually is, once those get big enough, I'm going to plant annuals, sun patience around all 3 of those. So there's more color on the ground. It's going to fill the gaps. And then the same with up here. My plan is, if there are gaps in like the first year, I want to take maybe like lemon coral sedum, something that is like a ground cover for the year, just an annual, and just kind of let it fill in the space for the season. It might take a couple years, right? Because they sleep, they creep, they leaf. So it'll take, 3 years before these even start to show any big growth. So hopefully we can get those planted soon. I'm going to place that order. We're going to plant at Mom and Dad's. My parents, they did a new addition, a remodel at their house. So we're doing their landscape in front of their new porch. Hopefully get those all ordered within the next week or so and get it planted, because I like to plant more in the fall. That way I'm not watering near as much as when I do it midsummer. So I hope you enjoyed, and stick around for when we get to plant everything and I really get to put Chris to work, right? So we'll see you guys soon. Bye.